birthday YouTube channel. Didn't I say we'd have cake? It's a real party now. We also have... Well, that was shit. So, hello. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Miranda. This is my immensely sticky cake. It's pretty good though. Why do I have really sticky cake, you ask? Because it's my Booktube anniversary. Yay! I also realised, completely coincidentally, that I also started my Bookstagram account on the 31st of July, I think 2 years ago. And that was a complete accident. Like, I didn't mean to, you know, for those two things to line up. So it's my Bookstagram anniversary and my Booktube anniversary. So happy birthday me! So plan for today, apart from eat cake, is go through some questions from the well, there are two tags that I found, the YouTube anniversary tag and the Booktube birthday tag, made originally by Average Joe Reads and Read with Bintu. And I like both tags. I've seen both done, so I thought I would cherry pick what questions I wanted to ask from those, and then I have a couple of questions from Instagram and a couple from my YouTube that I thought I would just answer. We can have a little chat about me, because I'm the most important thing here. So the first question is, what has kept you motivated to continue making videos? And I think for me, it's just the fact that I love books. I just love talking about the books that I love, and I don't get a lot of opportunity to talk about the books that I read in other like parts of my life. So I mean, I have friends that read, but like not as intensely as I do, and not all the same kinds of books that I do. So I don't get to talk about reading that much, and it just makes me immensely happy to have a place where I can just rant about stuff I love. And I just love recommending books to people, and like any time that someone says they've read a book that I've recommended, it brings me so much joy and just makes me want to keep going, basically. Next question is, what are 3 of your favourite videos you made in the past year and why? And what video are you most proud of and why? I think these are 2 questions from 2 different tags that I like squished together, because basically my favourite videos that I've made are all ones that I'm really proud of. So firstly, we have my first vibes video where I recommended a load of creepy books with a kind of otherworldly twist, and I mean, those are just my favourite kind of books to read, so I got to recommend an absolute load of books in that video that I just love, and I think it's a really great kind of collection of books. And shout out to at Jenny M Reads on Instagram, who has made it a project to read all of the books that I recommended in that video, which just makes me incredibly happy. And anytime she posts like a review of one of those books on her Instagram, my heart just goes that's exactly what it does. The second one is my If You Like This for Popular Book, Read This Less Popular Book video. Very snappy title, I know. I just feel like for that, the combinations that I came up with and the connections make a lot of sense, and I was really happy to be recommending a lot of underrated books that I absolutely love. I think my absolute favourite video that I've made is probably my books that would make great musicals video, because it's a combination of all my loves. But I'm also really proud of my very first vlogs. The first 2 videos that I made were reading vlogs, and I think I'm really proud of them because it was an absolute pain in the arse to edit them, and I had no idea what I was doing. And I think they actually turned out really well, and I really like them. The next question is, choose one moment from the past year on Booktube that you would love to relive. And for this, I have to say, watching the video where Grace from GK Reads gave me a shout out. It was a YouTuber recommendation video, and she mentioned me, and I think at that point I only had about 30 subscribers, so it was very weird, just the joy that I felt from having somebody like recognise the work that I was doing, and like thinking that what I was making was worth watching, just it made me so happy. Next is shout out a huge supporter of your channel, and for this I'm going in two parts. Firstly, lovely booktubers who have made me feel very welcome and comment on my videos a lot, and I just love, including Leanne Rose, Ben from Doom Antidote, Charlotte from Coiny Reads, who is an angel and I love her, and Cherry from Cherry Actually Reads, and also the person who has supplied most of the questions for the Q&A segment later on, Kieran from KD Books, because he's lovely. And then there are just some people who consistently comment on my videos all the time, and it just makes me really happy to see them there. So again, Jenny M Reads from Instagram, she's always there in my comments and I really appreciate it. Thanks, Jenny. And also Jennifer Lovell, don't know how you say that, but yeah, I see you. You're sitting there in your comments, and I don't know, just it makes me happy. And then obviously there's my mum, who watches all of my videos and comments on them, and makes me very happy because she's lovely and she's the best. Next is what's the best book you've read in the last year? So if you've been here for any length of time, you should know that I hate picking favourites. It's my least favourite thing to do, and I'm really bad at it. I just know. So I have about 5. Blue Horses by Mary Oliver, Summer Water by Sarah Moss, no, not an extra finger, The God of Small Things by Arundhati Roy, My Name's Why by Lem Sissay, and Mrs. Death by Selena Godden. Those are my top 5. Can't pick between them, don't ask me to, I won't. Next, where do you see your channel in a year's time, and what do you hope to have achieved? For this, my answer is literally just I want to grow my community, because that's what I joined for and why I started making videos, because I can get a little bit lonely sometimes and just having people around me that I can talk to and have conversations with, that's all I want. I'm really bad at like initiating conversations with people and starting them and maintaining them, because I feel like people don't like me, but that's all I want. I just want to meet more people. Next, how have you changed from your first video to now? This is a really difficult question because I have no idea. I think I'm less nervous now generally. I'm more confident obviously in front of a camera because I'm just used to it now, but generally in real life as well I think I'm a bit more confident. But I think the main thing is got a haircut, I've got a job, I completed my 2nd year of university, and I got new glasses. So next question is what's your most popular video? And that is my uni book haul that I made around September last year. It has about 700 views I think, which is great, and I'm really happy that that is my most popular one, because part of the reason I made that video was to kind of bring attention to comparative lit as a like a discipline, and just spread the comp lit joy, because I love it so much. I love studying it, and I feel like not enough people know what it is, not enough people appreciate it and like want to study it. So that was why I made that video, and I'm really glad that it's got like a decent amount of like traction. Okay, so the last question from the tags is what's the hardest thing about creating videos for YouTube, apart from eating cake? Oh, this cake is absolutely ridiculous. Like, it's a sticky toffee cake and it's insane. Like, it's huge. It's the stickiest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It tastes so fucking good. So for me, the hardest thing about making videos is coming up with original ideas, because I'm not the most creative of people. I'm more a kind of like practical minded, analytical type person instead of being like creative. So I'm not great at coming up with like new original stuff, but I don't think that's a problem necessarily, because I think mostly what I watch Booktube for anyway is not for like new groundbreaking video ideas or like massive amounts of creativity. It's to see what different people think of different books. The other thing that I find really hard is the pressure I feel to read for YouTube. So it's really hard for me to not get caught up in like the wave of new releases that's coming all the time. And I feel a lot of pressure to be talking about new things all the time, and always talking about the thing that everyone else is talking about. And that's just not how I read, because I rarely buy hardback books. I leave things sitting on my TBR for years anyway, so it's quite rare that I will like buy a book and read it. There's nothing wrong with that, but I tell myself there is, because I'm like, oh, everyone else is reading this, and if you're not reading it now but you want to read it, no one's going to care in like a year's time. Anyway, all that done, let's move on to some questions from Instagram. I got two. One of them from my mother, who asked what my thoughts are on the book along list. Honestly, I don't have that many thoughts on the book along list because I don't know many of the books that are on there. I haven't read any of them, and lots of them I haven't heard of, which makes me really happy. I always love when there are books on long lists that no one has predicted and lots of people are like, what the hell is this? Because it just makes it more interesting. I just realised I have read one. I've read Clara and the Sun, so that's like a rarity for me, because when a long list comes out I normally haven't read anything that's on it already. But otherwise there aren't any that were on my radar apart from No One Is Talking About This by Patricia Lockwood. That's the only other one that I have that I was going to read anyway. I haven't really looked at any of the like the synopsis of any of the books that I haven't heard of on the list, so I'm really interested to hear more about them and see kind of whether I want to pick any of them up. And then also on Instagram, Kieran, the booker boy himself, asked me what the best pasta shape is, and I'm gonna have to be a basic bitch and say penne, because it just goes with everything. You can suck up peas through them. What more do you want? I love the twisty ones. Twisty ones are also good. Can't remember what those are called. And the shells are also good. But generally, I'm a basic penne bitch. Kieran also asked some really difficult questions on my last video, in the comments of my last video. The first one being tips on diversifying your bookshelves without falling into an echo chamber where everyone reads the same books. Now this is hard because I think I'm really guilty of this, because I get lots of my recommendations from Booktube. It's really hard to not just read what everyone else is reading. But I think my best tip for this kind of thing is like going into bookshops and just having a good old browse and just picking up things that you haven't heard of. But also for diversifying your bookshelves, I mean, I'm still really not great at this. I'm still working on it very much. But like I've found some really great books literally just from Googling like just lists. So I realised recently that I haven't read many books with sapphic relationships in them. So I literally searched up books with sapphic relationships and had a little mooch around on the internet and found an absolute, like a load that I've never heard of but sound absolutely fascinating, that I'm really excited to read. And also for writers of from different countries. I think the main thing is to be intentional about it and to kind of monitor where you're going. I'm again not very good at that because I'm not very good at like putting pressure on myself to read, because then it just gets messy. But I think the best thing to do is really not just pick up whatever everybody else is talking about and whatever you think you'll enjoy. Not whatever you think you'll enjoy, but like everything you think you'll enjoy from all the same people, but kind of going out of your way to explore more and find different things intentionally, and being really intentional about how you buy books. Yeah. The next question he asks is, what do you look for in Booktube channels? So the main thing I look for is people who read similar books to me. Again, that kind of goes against what I just said, but like I do know what I like, and I know that if people aren't reading the same kinds of books as me, I'm not going to be interested in like what they're reading, basically. If we have like an overlap somewhere, it's more likely that I will enjoy the books that they recommend that I haven't heard of. So it doesn't really matter how small the Venn diagram is, there just has to be like a little middle bit. I don't know why I'm trying to illustrate this with diagrams with my hands, but apart from that, the main thing for me is somebody who's entertaining. So you gotta have personality, boys. It doesn't matter how intelligently you talk about a book if you're not interesting. I don't care. Which is why I love channels like Kieran's channel, because he has really intelligent reviews, but is also really funny. And Ben from Doom and Stowe, again, his videos are hilarious and just make me incredibly happy, but also he gives amazing recommendations. Everyone, like all the people I watch, they have that kind of combination of books that I'm going to love and being entertaining. And lastly, Kieran asks, what tips would you give people who want to start? And I'm guessing that this means start making videos, because it could mean start a fire, I don't know. And I feel like I don't have anything else to say apart from what everyone else has said, which is just do it. Like, it's not that hard, really. If you want to do it. And if you don't like it, you won't like it, and that's fine. And I guess the main thing I'd say is just be yourself. And don't try and follow a crowd, because that's not gonna work. So you kind of have to find your little place and how you fit, and just what you are and who you want to be, and do that. And on that note, I think we'll finish. Cheers from the birthday cake. I think all that's left to say really is thank you so much to everybody who supported me over the last year. I feel like an Olympian giving an appreciation speech. If you've watched and you've been here and left me a comment, thank you, I really appreciate it. Here's to another year. Oi oi. So go forth, be safe, eat cake, and do good things. I'll see you soon.